Hi, this is Mark Olsey with 21 ways you can improve your conversations. And this is bonus number 1. I've entitled this, Becoming Comfortable with Silence. Becoming comfortable with silence in a conversation has to be one of the most important principles for experiencing a healthy conversation. Here's why. We've all had the experience numerous times of being interrupted when we are seeking to say something. The impact of this is quite frustrating and hurtful. Many of us, as a result, have just given up trying to say anything at all or adding anything to a conversation because we know we will not have the chance to say everything we want to say before we are interrupted. Others of us have learned to talk in such a way that we don't leave a space between sentences, so when we say sentences, so when we talk with others, we can maintain control of the conversation to such an extent that we can't even be interrupted. And even when someone at times attempts to do so, we just keep talking so they get the message to not interrupt. Remember this. We all want to be heard, but we also don't want to be hurt. If and when we give others the gift of silence, where we don't interrupt, but we stay in a listening posture, we bring a sense of calm, peace, and security to the conversation so that all one wants to say can fully and safely be said. So why is it so difficult for us as listeners to keep quiet, to stay silent and remain in a listening posture? Well, there are probably a number of reasons why it's difficult. First, I'm afraid we are all too eager to say what we want to say, and so the moment someone else hesitates, we jump in with what we want to say. Unfortunately, the focus is ourselves and not the other person. Second reason might be we simply don't take time to consider the flow of conversations. It's just not something we've been taught to do or even to take notice of. Third reason, we are uncomfortable with silence. We start feeling anxious or pressured. Perhaps we are afraid if we don't speak up, we will forget what we want to say. Or perhaps in the silence, we begin imagining that the other wants us to speak to break the awkwardness of the quiet. Or perhaps we feel pressured into giving an answer. All of these concerns make sense, and we can appreciate them. At the same time, we could say, so what if we forget what we wanted to say? Or, awkwardness is something we can address by relaxing and modeling that quietness is okay. And we can fight the pressure, or at least don't have to give in to the pressure of always giving an answer. Remember that it's presence, a quiet listening presence, that is the first and foremost experience people really long for when they have the opportunity to tell others what they are thinking or feeling. A fourth reason why we may not practice being silent is that we don't know the power of silence. As I'm sharing this, I am thinking of a man I once talked to years ago who had such difficulty talking to me. He would attempt to say something, but could barely get any words out of his mouth. And if he did, he would stutter along the way. By being patient with him and relaxed over time, this man became able to tell me what he was thinking and even share his past story which enabled me to understand where and how it became so difficult for him to talk to anyone. My silence and attentive listening provided the safety, the space, the time, and the message that what he had to say mattered. And over time, we became friends. Well, I tend to be in the category of just getting quiet and not talking for fear of being hurt by someone who interrupts me. How about you? Here is your assignment. This week, practice remaining silent in your conversations when someone else is speaking. Note what makes it difficult for you. Feel free to tell others what you are practicing, and then add to your silence the gift of listening attentively and watch the effect on the other person. Then come back into the Pledge Talk Learning community and tell me one thing. What did you discover about yourself that makes it difficult for you to be silent in a conversation? Or what effect did your silence have on the relationship itself or on the other person? All right, that's the tip for today's 21 ways you can improve your conversations. I'm Mark Olsey with the Pledge Talk Learning Community. You can learn more by going to community.pledgetalk.com. Bye for now.